The mockery. The galaxy was full of warships, sleek destroyers, shining cruisers, and massive carriers that moved with power and speed. Every race had built their fleets to be the best, faster, stronger, and deadlier than anyone else. In this world of speed and firepower, one ship stood out, but not in a good way. It was the human warship. The aliens laughed the first time they saw it. Compared to their sharp, glowing cruisers, the human ship looked old and heavy, like something dragged from a forgotten age. Its engines burned slow blue flames, weak and lazy against the stars. While alien ships could dart like arrows across space, the human warship crawled like a wounded animal. "They call this a warship?" one alien commander sneered. "I have seen cargo haulers move faster." Another laughed so hard his crew joined in. "Maybe it is a museum piece. Did the humans run out of real ships?" The jokes spread quickly, across the battle networks, across the fleets. Every alien officer made fun of it. They gave it names. The drifting coffin, the sleeping giant, the rust bucket of Earth. The humans did not reply. Their ship simply drifted on, slow, silent, heavy. This only made the aliens laugh harder. The alien fleets were proud. Their technology was centuries ahead. They had faster engines, stronger shields, weapons that could burn planets if they wanted. Humans were newcomers to the galactic stage, and most races thought of them as children. Brave, maybe, but not powerful. And this ship, this old, crawling machine, proved it. "This is the best they can do?" another captain mocked, watching the human warship crawl across his screen. If this is humanity's pride, then their race is already finished. On alien channels, memes and jokes flooded. Images of the slow human ship with words like, "Catch me if you can," or "Powered by snails." Whole fleets laughed, pointing at the human warship as it struggled forward. But behind the laughter, one or two alien officers stayed quiet. They studied the human ship carefully. Something about the silence of its crew, something about the steady, patient way it moved. It didn't fit the jokes. Yet when they spoke up, their warnings were drowned out. The human warship did not look like a threat. Its armor was thick, yes, but slow. Its weapons were old-fashioned rail cannons instead of bright plasma beams. The design looked simple, almost primitive. Nothing about it screamed danger. Still, it kept moving. Not fast, not with strength. Just steady. One alien lieutenant laughed again and leaned back in his chair. "I could fly around it in circles for hours. It wouldn't even touch me." "Let us test it," said another. And so, they did. A group of alien ships moved closer. They fired a few shots not to kill but to mock. Energy beams flashed near the human hull, bright explosions that should have made the crew panic. But the human ship did not react. It didn't shoot back. It didn't speed up. It didn't change course. It simply kept moving. The aliens roared with laughter. "Cowards, look, they don't even fight. Maybe the crew is asleep. Or maybe it is just an empty shell." To them, this wasn't war anymore. It was entertainment. They teased the human warship like hunters playing with a trapped animal. But deep inside, a strange feeling began to grow. The human warship's silence was unnatural. Most ships, when mocked, would at least send a signal, a warning, some angry response. The humans gave nothing. No sound, no message, no threat. Only silence. Silence in space can be heavy. Silence can feel dangerous. One alien officer whispered to his commander, "Why do they not respond?" The commander shrugged. "Because they cannot. They are weak." But the whisper lingered. The aliens didn't know the humans had chosen this design on purpose. To outsiders, it looked slow and weak. To those inside, it was something else. Every piece of the warship, every inch of its armor, every weapon, every movement, it was planned. It was patient. It was waiting. But the aliens could not see this yet. To them, it was still a joke. And so the mockery continued. More fleets arrived just to watch. Screens across the galaxy filled with the image of the crawling human ship. Reporters wrote headlines like, Humans enter battle with snail ship and slowest warship in history. Entire planets laughed together. It was a circus, a comedy, a show. Yet in the middle of that laughter, the human warship kept moving, slow but steady, silent but alive. And while the galaxy mocked, while the aliens jeered, while everyone called it useless, something dark was waiting behind that silence, something no one could see yet, something that would soon turn their laughter into fear. The challenge, the laughter did not stop. Across the stars, alien fleets still mocked the strange human warship. To them, it was like a ghost, drifting in slow motion. They believed it was harmless, nothing but an embarrassing mistake sent into space. But laughter is dangerous. Laughter makes warriors careless. Soon, the aliens wanted more than just jokes. They wanted to prove their superiority. It was not enough to laugh at the humans, they wanted to humiliate them. 8. A sleek alien cruiser named Varkash moved forward. Its captain, a lizard-like creature with golden armor, stood tall on his bridge. His eyes burned with pride. "Open a channel," he ordered. His crew obeyed. A mocking message was sent out across open frequencies. "Slow humans, your ship is a joke. We give you one chance, turn back and go home. Leave war to real civilizations." There was silence. The human warship gave no reply. The captain sneered. "They hide in fear. Let us wake them." His ship fired a warning shot, bright plasma streaking across the void. It exploded near the human vessel in a burst of color. The galaxy watched. Would the humans finally speak? Would they fight back? But the human ship remained quiet. It neither changed course nor fired a weapon. It just continued its steady crawl forward. The captain laughed. "See? Even their courage is slow." Soon, other alien ships joined. They circled the human vessel like predators teasing prey. One fired another shot, grazing the ship's shields. Another flew dangerously close, flashing lights and sending taunts. Still, the human ship did nothing. "Maybe there is no crew," one alien pilot suggested. "Maybe it is remote-controlled. Or maybe they are already dead." Their laughter echoed again, but one alien commander, watching from afar, narrowed his eyes. "No. Look closer. They move with purpose. Slowly, yes, but not randomly. There is rhythm in their silence." His words were ignored. The challenge was now a game, and the other fleets wanted more. At last, the aliens decided to make it official. They sent out a public announcement across battle networks. "We, the proud fleets of the Varkash Alliance, challenge the humans. If their ship can fight, let them fight. If not, we will crush them for all to see." The galaxy erupted with excitement. Billions tuned in. This was no longer just a battle, it was entertainment. The entire war became a stage, and the slow human ship was the clown at the center. Alien cruisers formed ranks. Fighters zipped around like insects. Drones scanned every inch of the human hull. They wanted to expose every weakness, every flaw. The human warship remained silent, its engines burning their same steady blue flame. One alien commander grinned and raised his hand. Let the challenge begin. The first wave attacked. Alien fighters swooped in, unleashing bright streams of energy. Explosions sparked across the human ship's shields. To the audience watching, it looked like the humans were being torn apart. But when the smoke cleared, the warship still moved, unchanged. The aliens frowned. The second wave came. Larger cruisers fired their cannons, hammering the shields again and again. The void burned with fire. Still, the human ship crawled forward, its shields absorbing blow after blow. The alien commanders exchanged uneasy glances. "How thick are their shields?" one muttered. "Too thick," another answered. "That design is old, but it is built to last." Still, they would not stop. Their pride was on the line. The third wave prepared. This time they aimed not to scare, but to cripple. Precision strikes, targeted blasts, cutting attacks, meant to tear the human ship apart. The galaxy leaned forward in suspense. Surely now the slow warship would fail. Surely now the humans would finally fall. But once again the human vessel did not break. Its shields flared bright. Its hull groaned, but it endured, always moving forward, always silent. The alien crews grew restless. Why don't they fight back? Why don't they at least retreat? What are they waiting for? The silence of the human ship was no longer funny. It was unsettling. The challenge was supposed to be easy. The aliens thought they were showing the galaxy how weak humans were. But instead they revealed something else. The humans were not rushing. They were not panicking. They were not wasting energy on pointless counterattacks. They were waiting. Every move the aliens made, every circle, every strike, every taunt, was being observed. Recorded, calculated. The slow warship was not failing. It was studying. One alien commander slammed his clawed fist against his chair. Enough! End this farce. Finish them now. His fleet surged forward, preparing for a final, overwhelming strike. Fighters, cruisers, destroyers all charged their weapons. The void glowed with deadly light. The galaxy held its breath. This was the moment the humans would be erased. This was the moment the joke would end. But on the silent human bridge, hidden behind thick armor and steady shields, calm voices spoke. Enemy patterns confirmed. Firing solutions ready. Begin Phase 1. The warship's slow engines pulsed once. A quiet, steady sound, almost like a heartbeat. And though no alien knew it yet, the real challenge was about to begin. Strange behavior. The galaxy waited for the human warship to break, but it did not. Attack after attack, wave after wave, the aliens tried to prove their superiority. Yet the strange ship of Earth kept moving, slow and steady, as if nothing could stop it. The jokes grew quieter now. The laughter that once filled the comm channels faded. In its place, whispers began, whispers of unease. At first, the human ship's movement seemed random. To the mocking eyes of the aliens, it looked like a clumsy beast, drifting left, sliding right, tilting its heavy hull through the void without grace. But one alien officer, a young strategist, watched carefully. He noticed something. Every time a cruiser fired, the human ship shifted just slightly at the perfect angle to take the blow on its strongest armor. Every time fighters circled, the ship adjusted its speed so their shots missed by meters instead of striking true. It was not chaos. It was control. Their ship is predicting us, he whispered to his commander. The commander snarled. Impossible. They are too slow. They cannot predict speed they do not have. But deep down even he wondered. The warship was not rushing. It was not panicking. Instead, it moved like a chess player. Patient and careful, one piece at a time. Alien fleets fired wildly, trying to pin it down. Yet the human ship always drifted away, never fast, never elegant, but always in the one place where damage was least. To the untrained eye, it looked like luck. To the careful eye, it looked like design. And slowly, more commanders began to notice. Suspicion spread. What if they are guiding us, one alien asked. Guiding us where? Another demanded. Into something, came the quiet answer. But arrogance is a powerful drug. Most aliens still refuse to believe the humans had any plan. They are weak. They are prey. They are only delaying the inevitable, one commander declared. His fleet cheered in agreement, but none of them laughed anymore. Then, something stranger happened. The human warship slowed even more. It was already the slowest ship in the field, but now its engines dimmed until it looked like a drifting corpse. Alien fighters zipped past it in confusion. Drones scanned it and reported no change in energy signatures. To them, the warship looked dead, but it wasn't. From the shadows of its hull, tiny pulses of light flickered. To most, they looked like meaningless glitches, heat leaks, broken sensors, or failing systems. But one alien commander studied them closer. His eyes widened. That's not damage, he breathed. That's communication. He was right. The human ship wasn't broken. It was talking to itself. Internal codes flashed along its armored surface, signals bouncing across the hull in patterns no alien understood. The ship was thinking, planning, aligning. But to the galaxy watching, it still looked like silence. And that silence was becoming unbearable. Aliens are used to noise in battle, roaring engines, screaming soldiers, commanders shouting orders, but the humans gave nothing. No messages, no insults, no surrender, no fear, only patience. The void between stars is already cold, but the human silence made it colder still. Some alien soldiers began to feel it. Fear. One fighter pilot gripped his controls too tightly. "Why don't they move like we do?" he asked over comms. "Because they are broken," his squad leader replied. "Then why does it feel like they are watching us?" No one answered. The alien fleets adjusted their tactics. They spread out, trying to box the human ship in. Dozens of cruisers moved like wolves, closing around prey. Their weapons glowed, ready to fire. And then it happened. The human warship tilted, slow, deliberate, unnatural. Its engines flared just once, and it shifted to the side at the exact moment a group of alien destroyers moved in. The destroyers crashed into each other. Explosions lit the void. 3 ships were destroyed instantly. The galaxy gasped. Was that an accident? Someone asked. But deep inside, many knew the truth. It was not an accident. The humans had guided them. From that moment, the mockery was gone. No more laughter, no more jokes about coffins or cargo haulers. Now there was only tension. Only the sound of commanders giving sharper orders, soldiers asking nervous questions, and fleets trying harder not to make mistakes. But mistakes kept happening. Every time the aliens tried to trap the humans, their trap snapped shut on themselves. Every time they tried to predict the warship had already predicted them. The slowest ship in the galaxy was moving like a shadow ahead of them, one step beyond their reach. The whispers grew louder. What if they planned this from the start? What if the humans knew we would mock them? What if slow is not weakness? On the human bridge, the crew worked quietly. Their faces were calm, their voices steady. They're following the pattern. Enemy position confirmed. Next phase ready. Their captain stood at the center, eyes fixed on the enemy fleets. "Patience," he said, and still, the warship crawled forward. Not fast, not desperate, just steady. But to the galaxy watching, that steady crawl no longer looked weak. It looked terrifying, because slow was not random. Slow was not broken. Slow was deliberate. And everyone knew, though no one wanted to say it aloud, that something worse was coming. The first strike, the galaxy had fallen quiet. No more jokes, no more laughter. The slow human warship, once mocked by billions, now moved like a shadow that no one could predict. Its silence pressed on every mind, heavy and sharp, like the edge of a blade waiting to cut. Alien fleets circled it, larger and stronger than anything humans had ever faced. Cruisers, destroyers, carriers, hundreds of ships glowing with power. Their engines burned like suns, their weapons charged bright. And still, the human ship crawled forward, patient as ever. It was time. On the E-8 alien flagship Varkash, the commander growled. His golden armor gleamed under the lights, but his eyes were uneasy. "This game has gone long enough," he hissed. "Prepare full strike. No more testing. No more playing. We finish them here." His officers saluted and began inputting commands. Across the fleet, cannons aligned, fighters armed, missiles locked. The void shone with deadly energy. Billions across the galaxy tuned in to watch. The end of the human ship was about to be broadcast live, yet on the bridge of the human warship, no one panicked. Calm voices spoke. Target lock acquired. Trajectory confirmed. Energy levels stable. The captain stood at the center, his face carved with patience. His voice was steady. "Phase 2, fire." The first human shot left the cannon. There was no bright plasma beam, no glowing missile, no dazzling fireworks. It was a single rail projectile, Small, silent, almost invisible. To the aliens, it looked primitive, outdated, but it moved fast. Faster than light beams could bend, faster than anyone expected. In one heartbeat, it crossed the void. In the next heartbeat, an alien cruiser exploded. Silence. Total silence. The galaxy gasped as the mighty cruiser shattered into burning fragments. Its shields, once thought unbreakable, had been pierced as if they were nothing. The wreck spun into the dark, fire trailing behind. Billions of eyes stared at their screens. For a moment, no one believed it. The slow human warship had fired once. Only once. And it had destroyed a ship that should have taken dozens of hits to bring down. On the alien flagship, panic spread. What happened? An officer cried. Impossible, their weapon is outdated. Shields were at full strength, how did it break through? The commander roared, but his voice trembled. Do not stop. Fire everything. Alien fleets unleashed their storm. Cannons fired, beams tore across the void. Missiles streaked like falling stars. The human warship vanished in fire. Explosions surrounded it, lighting the darkness with fury. The galaxy cheered. Perhaps the humans had struck once, but surely they could not survive this. But when the smoke cleared, it was still there. The warship crawled onward, shields dim but unbroken. Its hull glowed with heat, scarred but alive. Slowly, steadily, it turned again. Another rail shot launched, and another alien cruiser died. Fear spread. This is no accident, one alien whispered. They aim with perfection, said another. They only need one shot. The realization struck like ice. The human warship did not waste fire. Every shot was chosen, every strike deliberate. While alien fleets unleashed storms of light, the humans used patience. One bullet, one target, one kill. The galaxy had never seen war like this. To them, speed was power. The fastest ship, the brightest weapon, the loudest strike, that was victory. But humans thought differently. Humans believed in precision, in patience, in silence. And now, the galaxy understood the nightmare they faced. Alien morale cracked. Fighters refused to fly close. Commanders shouted, but their voices shook. Even the boldest captains hesitated before engaging. No one wanted to be the next. Cruiser turned to dust by a single invisible shot. Fear spread faster than fire. On the human bridge, the crew worked like a single machine. Next target acquired. Trajectory calculated. Firing. Another shot. Another kill. The warship did not rush. It did not need to. Each moment was chosen carefully, each strike placed with deadly patience. Like a hunter killing prey one by one. And the prey was starting to realize they were trapped. One alien officer screamed across his comms, "It's not a ship, it's a sniper." A sniper in the dark. He was right. The slowest warship in the galaxy had become the deadliest hunter. The galaxy trembled. Billions who had laughed now sat in silence, watching with wide eyes. Children who once joked now hid behind their parents. Reporters who mocked now spoke in hushed tones. The legend was being born. The slow human warship had struck, and with one shot, it had changed everything. But this was only the beginning, because while the aliens panicked, while fear spread like fire, the humans were already preparing their next move. A trap was waiting, and the galaxy had not yet seen what patience could truly do. The trap revealed the galaxy was no longer laughing. Where there had once been jokes and jeers, now there was only fear. The slow human warship had proven it could strike with perfect accuracy. One shot, one kill. No waste, no mercy. Alien fleets, once bold and arrogant, now kept their distance. Their captains barked orders with nervous voices. Their fighters flew, in wide arcs, afraid to come too close. The battlefield had grown quiet, haunted by the memory of the humans' precision. But the humans were not finished. Not yet. On the alien flagship Varkash, the commander gripped the arms of his chair. Rage burned in his golden eyes, but fear gnawed beneath it. "This ship cannot defeat us alone," he hissed. "We are the Varkash Alliance. We have numbers. We have speed. And this." His fleets obeyed. Dozens of cruisers shifted position. Hundreds of fighters swarmed. Their engines roared as they tightened the circle around the human ship. From the outside, it looked like the humans were cornered at last. But in truth, it was the aliens who were walking into the corner. The human warship did not resist. It only moved slower. Its engines dimmed until it looked almost dead. Its movements grew more sluggish than ever, like a wounded beast crawling toward its grave. Alien fleets cheered. They are finished. They have no power left. Crush them now. Yet the ship still moved, inch by inch, steady and deliberate, toward a star. The star was massive, burning with blinding light. Its gravity pulled on everything nearby, strong and merciless. Normally, fleets avoided such places, too risky, too dangerous. One mistake, one miscalculation, and a ship could be dragged into its fire. But the humans did not avoid it. They drifted closer. The aliens followed, blind to the danger. On the human bridge, the crew spoke softly. They're inside the net. Trajectory confirmed. Star gravity stable. The captain nodded once. Good. Maintain course. Let them come. The trap was simple. But in war, simple traps are often the deadliest. The humans had chosen this battlefield from the start. Every slow movement, every weak drift, had been guiding the aliens closer to the star's pull. Like a fisherman tugging a net, little by little, until the prey swam right where it was wanted. The aliens thought they were circling the humans, but in truth the humans were circling them. At first, no one noticed. The alien fleets focused only on their prey, eager to deliver the killing blow. But then, small mistakes began. A cruiser drifted too close and felt the tug of the star. Its engines roared, fighting against the pull. The ship trembled but escaped, barely. Another destroyer adjusted course, but its calculations were slightly off. It began to spin, dragged sideways by unseen forces. "Stabilize," the commander shouted. "I'm trying," the pilot cried. Panic spread. The human ship, meanwhile, moved with strange grace. It was still slow, yes, but perfectly aligned. Every adjustment, every tilt of its heavy hull kept it balanced against the star's pull. The aliens had mocked its slowness, but now they saw the truth. Only a slow, steady ship could survive here. Their own speed was a curse. The first disaster struck when two alien frigates collided. One swerved to avoid the star's gravity well, the other tried to block its drift. They crashed into each other in a burst of fire. Debris spiraled into the star, vanishing in light. The galaxy gasped. The humans did nothing. They did not fire a single shot. The star was their weapon. Fear took hold of the alien fleets. "Pull back," one commander shouted. "Too late, we're inside the gravity field," another replied. "Engines at full thrust, break formation." But breaking formation only made it worse. Ships turned wildly, paths crossing, engines burning too hot. More collisions followed. Fighters slamming into cruisers, destroyers scraping against carriers. The battlefield became chaos, and in the middle of it all, the human warship drifted like a ghost untouched. The trap had closed. The aliens realized too late. Their speed, their arrogance, their hunger to humiliate the humans. It had dragged them straight into doom. One by one, their ships were pulled apart. Some spiraled into the star, screaming as fire consumed them. Others crashed into each other, explosions painting the void red and gold. The galaxy watched in horror. The slow ship had not needed to fight. It had only needed to wait. On the human bridge, calm voices continued. Enemy casualties rising. Gravity net complete. Target field collapsing. The captain's eyes never left the screen. "Hold steady. Let the star finish our work." By the time the fleets realized the truth, it was too late. Dozens of ships were gone. Hundreds more crippled. The once proud circle of alien might had become a burning storm of debris, swallowed by the very star they had ignored. And through the wreckage, slow and silent, the human warship crawled on. The galaxy could not look away. They had mocked it. They had laughed. They had called it the slowest, weakest ship in the stars. But now they whispered its new name: the Trapmaker, the Patient Hunter, the Star's Shadow. The legend was growing. And still, the humans were not finished. Because while the aliens burned, the warship prepared for the next phase. The nightmare had only begun. The nightmare, the trap was closed. The Star had swallowed dozens of alien ships. Their speed, once their greatest pride, had turned into their doom. The battlefield burned with wreckage. Broken cruisers drifting, fighters lost, destroyers torn apart. And yet, the human warship still moved. Slow, steady, silent. The galaxy watched with wide eyes. What had begun as comedy was now a nightmare unfolding live. Billions whispered in fear, their voices hushed as though the warship could hear them across the stars. On the alien flagship Varkash, panic had replaced pride. Engines failing to stabilize. Gravity fields unstable, too much debris, shields breaking. The commander slammed his fist against the console. No, we will not fall to these primitives. But even as he roared, he felt it, the crawling sickness of fear. This was no primitive. This was no mistake. The humans had planned everything. And now the nightmare had only begun. The human ship finally turned its weapons outward. For hours, it had only watched, only guided, only waited. But now, when the alien fleets were scattered and broken, when their formations were ruined and their morale was ashes, now it struck. One rail shot, then another, and another. Each one was silent, invisible death. A destroyer exploded in fire. A cruiser cracked open like a shell. A carrier, heavy and proud, split in half with one strike. Every shot was perfect, every strike exact. The humans did not waste even a second. It was like death itself had taken form in metal and was crawling through the void. Alien voices filled the channels with terror. Retreat, retreat. They see us, they see all of us. No matter where we move, they follow. It's not a warship, it's a monster. And they were right. The slow human warship was no longer just a ship. It was fear made real. Its silence echoed louder than screams. Its patience was more terrifying than speed. Every alien pilot, every commander, every soldier felt the same dread. It was watching them, it was waiting for them. And when it fired, they would die. The galaxy's proudest fleets broke. Ships turned in panic, engines burning too hot, shields flaring. Entire squadrons fled the battlefield, abandoning allies to save themselves. Discipline collapsed, order vanished. The humans had not only destroyed ships, they had destroyed the will to fight. On the human bridge, the crew worked with calm precision. Target locked. Fire. Confirmed kill. Their voices carried no joy, no anger, no pride. Only cold duty. The captain stood tall, eyes fixed, on the collapsing enemy fleet. His words were quiet but heavy. They mocked us. Now they understand. Fear is our weapon. Let them carry this fear back to their worlds. One by one, alien ships jumped away into hyperspace. Their commanders no longer cared about victory. They only cared about survival. But even escape was not freedom. The story would follow them, the legend would grow. They would carry tales of the nightmare ship, the human warship that moved slower than all but killed faster than any. For those who could not escape, the end came quickly. The human rail cannons struck again and again. Cruisers shattered. Fighters burned. Whole formations vanished into silence. The battlefield became a graveyard, a floating sea of wreckage lit only by the fire of dying ships. The humans did not rush. They did not chase. They simply hunted, one target at a time, until there was nothing left to hunt. The galaxy trembled. Billions who had once laughed now sat frozen in fear. Entire civilizations whispered in disbelief. Children hid behind their parents. Politicians and warlords stared at their screens in silence. The humans had arrived on the galactic stage, and they had arrived not with speed or firepower, but with Something far more terrifying: patience. Patience that kills. Patience that traps. Patience that hunts. On the alien flagship Varkash, the commander finally broke. His fleet was in ruins, his allies destroyed, his pride shattered. His eyes were wide, his voice trembling. "This is no warship," he whispered. "This is a nightmare. The humans have built a nightmare." Those were his last words before the human warship turned its cannons on him. A single shot. The flagship exploded in fire, and the nightmare was complete. Silence fell across the stars. The battlefield was empty, now save for drifting wreckage and the crawling human ship, moving slow and steady through the graveyard it had made. It did not speak. It did not boast. It simply moved onward, patient as ever. And the galaxy realized the truth. The slowest ship had become the deadliest hunter. The humans had turned laughter into fear. And the nightmare would never be forgotten. The legend, the battlefield was silent. Where once hundreds of alien ships had roared with engines and firepower, now there was only wreckage, broken metal, drifting bodies, shattered pride. The great fleets of the Varkash Alliance had been destroyed, not by numbers, not by speed, but by one ship, one slow, steady, patient human warship. It crawled onward through the graveyard it had created, its engines burning their dim blue flame. No words, no celebration, no signal of triumph. Only silence, and silence was more terrifying than any victory cry. The survivors carried the story back: fighters that escaped, cruisers that fled, commanders who abandoned their allies, all of them told the same tale. Their voices shook as they spoke. Their eyes betrayed fear. They waited. They watched. They killed us one by one. Slow, so slow. But we could not stop them. The story spread like wildfire. From one fleet to another, from one world to another, from one empire to another. The words carried weight, heavier than any weapon. Soon entire star systems whispered the same phrase: the slow human warship. At first, many did not believe it. How could one outdated vessel defeat the might of advanced civilizations? How could slowness be strength? How could patience destroy speed? But then came the recordings. Billions of witnesses had watched the battle broadcast. Every second of the nightmare was captured on screen. The traps, the perfect strikes, the fleets torn apart by their own arrogance. The galaxy could not deny it. The slow human warship was real, and it was unstoppable. Fear grew. In alien academies, cadets whispered the name during training. In political halls, leaders debated whether humanity was dangerous or invincible. In homes across the stars, children who once mocked humans now hid under their blankets when the name was spoken. The warship was no longer just a machine. It was a shadow that haunted dreams. On Earth, the crew of the ship returned quietly. There were no parades, no grand celebrations. They had done their duty. They had defended humanity's honor, but the galaxy did not forget them. To humans, it was just one battle. To aliens, it was the beginning of a legend. The titles began. The drifting coffin was no longer a joke. It became a name spoken in fear, for it carried death inside. The sleeping giant was no longer an insult. It became a truth, for the humans had awakened. The rust bucket of Earth became the nightmare of the stars. Every race gave it a name. None of them were spoken with laughter. Some tried to explain it away. It was luck, they said. Others argued it was a trick never to be repeated. But deep inside, no one believed these words. Because the truth was clear. If the humans could build one nightmare ship, they could build more, and no one knew how many waited in silence, slow and steady, hidden in the dark. In time, the story grew beyond truth. Tales exaggerated the ship's power. Some said it could bend gravity itself. Others claimed it fired shots faster than light could travel. Children whispered that its crew were not human at all, but ghosts, patient hunters who never spoke. The legend outgrew the reality, but the fear remained. On alien battlefields, something strange began to happen. When human fleets appeared, even with ordinary ships, the enemy hesitated. Commanders delayed attacks. Soldiers froze. Entire squadrons retreated without a fight. The nightmare had done its work. It had planted fear so deep that humans no longer needed to prove themselves. Their reputation fought for them. And so the slow human warship became more than a weapon. It became a symbol of patience, a symbol of precision, a symbol of what happens when arrogance meets silence. Years later, when historians wrote of the battle, they did not call it the fall of the Varkash alliance. They did not call it the battle near the star. They called it the birth of the nightmare. On the bridge of the human warship, long after the battle ended, the captain had spoken, only once to his crew. His words were simple, but they carried across time, remembered by every survivor who told the tale. They thought speed was strength, he said. They thought silence was weakness. They were wrong. Slow is not weak. Slow is patient. Slow is death. Those words became a warning carved into history. And so the legend remained. The slow human warship, mocked by all, became the most feared vessel in the galaxy. Its story was told in whispers, its image carried in nightmares, its silence echoing louder than any weapon. For in the endless dark of space, where speed and pride ruled, the humans had taught a cruel lesson. Sometimes, the deadliest hunter is the one that moves the slowest.